How are we, my friends? You are very welcome along to Monday evening's Anfield Agenda News Roundup. It's a brand new week, but the stories keep coming thick and fast. And today, we're going to talk about what Liverpool's options are in attack after the news that Hugo Ekitike is flying into Merseyside for his medical. We're going to discuss who the other options are if Luis Diaz should depart, and of course Darwin Núñez as well. So we're going to be focused on Malik Fofana, Alexander Isak, Anthony Gordon, and of course Rodrigo Goes as well. Once you've watched the video, I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, you know what to do. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Drop a like on the video, and of course don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We will be back tonight 8:45 in our usual time slot for the late night agenda, but until then, let's get cracking with the news. Right, so Squawka put out a stat that said only 5 players had 200 plus touches in the opposition box, had 100 plus shots, and completed 50 plus take-ons in Europe top 5 leagues in 2024-25. Mohamed Salah, Antoine Semenyo, Lamine Yamal, Kylian Mbappe, and Hugo Ekitike. So that is a nice little stat to kick us off with today, just to give you a flavour of what type of player Liverpool are bringing in. So this one here said, it was an Arsenal fan saying, for Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, the 267 million spent, Liverpool better win every trophy available next season. And then a Liverpool fan very cleverly put in to say, if 195 million was all it took to expect every single trophy to be won, why hasn't Mikel Arteta been sacked yet? Well played, Shano. Well played. Right, next up we've got Fabrizio Romano saying Bayern Munich are preparing a significant bid to convince Liverpool to sell Luis Diaz. If the Reds show any openness to sale, Bayern are ready to move decisively to get a deal done. I think we all know that the openness is there for a particular number. If the number isn't met, then Liverpool seem intent to carry on as we are. If the number is met, then Luis Diaz will probably be sold. Again, Fabrizio Romano, and we mentioned this last night as well, not to rule this name out, said Malik Fofana can be an interesting option for Liverpool in case Luis Diaz leaves Bayern. Now, I don't know if he's going to be the target, but he could be one of the targets mentioned. So, one of the big topics that you guys ask me every time we do a stream is, what's happening with the DM position? Are we going to bring somebody in? Well, this might give us a little hint as to how that may play out. So this from Lewis Steele, his reporting said Liverpool youngster James McConnell is close to signing a new deal with the club, but is likely to head out on loan for the season. Our friends at Anything Liverpool post to say West Brom, Derby and German clubs all keen. Anfield Sector have said Liverpool's pursuit of Eintracht Frankfurt striker Hugo Ekitike and continued whispers of retained interest in Newcastle United's Alexander Isak also seem to be shoving Núñez closer to the exit door. They're taking the quotes there from Ian Doyle. Right, L'Equipe have said Rodrigo is Liverpool's top priority if Luis Diaz leaves. Now, what I'd like to know is, who's your top priority? If we do lose Luis Diaz on the left, who are you going after? Do you think Isak's still possible? Hint, he is. Do you think Rodrigo's the best fit? Or Anthony Gordon, Malik Fofana or somebody else? Let me know your thoughts, please, in the comments, ladies and gents. Next up, we're going back to Tanzaloik, who of course was on top of this story about Hugo Ekitike. This report from Anfield Sector, quoting him, said, Chelsea were a serious contender for Ekitike. The Blues leaders pulled out all the stops, drawing up plans for the Frenchman, but it didn't work. Manchester United also tried to interfere, but it was too late. Hugo Ekitike has long made his decision. The players' camp asked Marcus Kreusch to only speak to Liverpool. Now let's just pause there for a second, because how sweet does that sound? I have been a Liverpool fan for a long time at this point, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just say in excess of 30 years. And I've been waiting to have Liverpool to be this attractive, to have players waiting around while other top clubs try to sign them, but they're waiting to see what Liverpool do. This summer's business hasn't been lost on me, and the significance of where the club is at also hasn't. And this is brilliant. Just wanted to take a moment to just say that, because this is really brilliant. Right, next up we've got, again, same source, Tanzaloik, Arne Slot's video call with Hugo Ekitike, and the idea of a 4-2-3-1 that was presented to the player is what sold him. Slot's discussion of an evolution in the Reds' game plan, including possession sequences in this context. He also needs a creative, a mobile number 9 capable of combining, pushing forward and also playing deep. Ekitike emerged from this exchange seduced. I love that language there, seduced. Arne Slot out there seducing. Right. Luke Edwards of The Telegraph said, Alexander Isak has been unsettled after being promised a new contract by former co-owner Amanda Staveley in 2024 before ex-sporting director Paul Mitchell opted not to open talks. This led to acrimony and Isak's agent felt insulted. Come on, let's bring it in, Alexander. Come on. We won't insult you, fella. We'll treat you right. We'll give you that contract. We'll set you up there alongside Mohamed Salah, Hugo Ekitike, Florian Wirtz, and we'll deliver those trophies for you, Alexander. I know Newcastle fans don't want to hear this yet, but this situation is playing out towards an Alexander Isak exit. I'm not cocky enough to tell you it's going to be Liverpool, but I'm also not defeatist enough to tell you it won't be. So keep an eye on this situation, because as this story unfolds, there's more to come. Right, Ben Jacobs said, agreement in principle between Liverpool and Frankfurt for Hugo Ekitike, £69 million plus £10 million in add-ons paid with team and player success. Now, we also know that Hugo Ekitike is on his way for the medical. In fact, he might already be on Merseyside. David Ornstein again saying Liverpool reached the agreement with Frankfurt to sign Ekitike, £79 million in total, 69 plus 10 in bonuses. On top of that, with Lewis Steele saying Hugo Ekitike is set to fly into Liverpool. He said tomorrow, we believe it's actually today. Richard Hughes and the medical staff have stayed on the ground in England. He will then join the Tour of Asia. AC Milan game in Hong Kong on Saturday. Might come too soon, but we will see. Right, now we've got Ben Jacobs saying Liverpool are not done yet in the market. Another attacker is likely to arrive if Luis Diaz departs, with Bayern set to make a new bid. Now, let me just pause for a second here, because I know it's a difficult situation to talk about what happened with Diogo, but I would argue that if Chiesa is to go, if Darwin is to go, obviously we tragically lost Diogo, and if we lose Diaz, that's 4 out. I would say Liverpool need a minimum of 3 in, personally. But again, would love to know your take on this. Ekitike will be 1. But for me, even if you're allowing, let's say, young Rio to step up, I still think we could probably do with 2. But hey, maybe I'm being greedy. Liverpool have already approached Newcastle over Alexander Isak this summer, while Anthony Gordon and Rodrigo are 2 names appreciated. Now, this is where people start getting angry in the comments, and I've told you, my job on here is to be honest with people and tell you what I know. I've always known the Anthony Gordon interest was there. Everybody has. Rodrigo, I'm happy about that interest there, but either way, however this plays out, these are good options for me, for Liverpool to have. Rodrigo, Isak, Gordon, Malik Fofana. These are all names that, yes, will have my own tiers of happiness, let's say. Isak, Rodrigo, Gordon, Fofana in that order for me. It remains to be seen whether Liverpool would replace Diaz with a like-for-like winger or reinvest in another number 9. You know where I'm going with this, right? If Darwin Núñez departs. Another number 9. Who might that be? I don't know. I'm thinking Swedish maybe. Just me, right? Right, here we go. Similarly to the Florian Wirtz deal, the majority of the bonuses in Ekitike's deal are tied to Liverpool's trophy success. The player making a significant contribution would obviously see those figures stack up. These are difficult to achieve, but Liverpool would feel happy if they end up paying them, reports Sky Sports News, which is right, because it would mean we'd have been successful, and then everybody wins. Right, Romano said, Bayern's new proposal for Luis Diaz expected soon as player opened doors to the move. Decision up to Liverpool again as they be sure to bring in a new winger if Lucho and Chiesa both leave. Juventus have entered the race to sign Darwin Núñez, according to Repubblica, and again, Transfer News Live with that post. Romano said Hugo Ekitike lands on Merseyside today ahead of medical tests on Tuesday as a new Liverpool player. 6-year contract ready. Ekitike only wanted Liverpool despite Eintracht Frankfurt waiting for other clubs to join the race. This one here from Ian Doyle said Newcastle's owners remain steadfast they won't sell Isak this summer and are still keen to offer Isak a lucrative new deal. But the longer that stays unresolved, the player could have his head turned and Liverpool are on alert. Could there be a world which the Reds sign both Ekitike and Isak? It's unlikely, but not entirely impossible. Right, next we have former Newcastle manager Alan Pardew weighing in on it and saying, has Isak's head been turned? I would say probably yes. It looks very much like Isak is affected. Eddie Howe is trying to play it down, but it won't go away until Liverpool conduct their business. Next up, we have Matt Law of The Telegraph saying that Tottenham remain interested in Mark Gay and have not ruled out making another bid. Liverpool, though, remain favourites to sign him. And finally today, folks, Ben Jacobs on TalkSport, this is what he had to say. Liverpool have got one of their top targets. Hugo Ekitike was seen as a leading contender even before approaching Newcastle for Alexander Isak. And now we have to wait and see whether the unthinkable could happen, and it might be Ekitike and Isak. There will obviously have to be an outgoing, maybe two if that's the case. Núñez is expected to leave, possibly Luis Diaz. Bayern are expected to make a second bid there. Then it will depend on what Liverpool are looking for. Maybe another centre forward, maybe a winger. This is where the links with Rodrigo and Gordon come in. But Liverpool are not done yet. And in addition to probably adding another attacker, a centre back is also likely to come. Now, I've raced through all of that as quickly as I could, ladies and gents. I will see you tonight at 8:45, where we will, of course, talk about the fact that Isak is still possible, despite what some are trying to say. Love you guys to bits. We'll see you at 8:45. Thanks for watching.